what are the things that might get in the way of me developing and living that executive mindset? And there definitely are some themes here that are worth mentioning. So one is micromanagement tendencies. That can definitely get in the way of executive mindset because it really gets you focusing on the minutia and prevents you from seeing the bigger picture. It can prevent delegation sometimes because you may be grabbing onto some details and hanging on to them. And one of the important things to remember about micromanagement, if it pops up for you, if you're leaning into micromanagement a bit rather than stepping back and delegating more, it doesn't mean you're not an effective leader. It may be a symptom of the fact that you're getting out of your comfort zone. If you're trying a new skill and doing something that's a little bit less comfortable for you, it makes sense that sometimes we retreat to our comfort zone, which might be hanging on to the details. So it's just part of the process of learning and growing. You can do it. You can push through and out of that comfort zone and give it a try. Another watch out, another thing that may get in the way of really embracing that executive mindset is a fear of failure. If you're doing something new that you haven't done before, it is not going to feel comfortable, and it may feel like a big risk, and that failure is a possible outcome. Failure is always a possible outcome. And the risk there is that it can lead to indecisiveness and, really staying in that safe zone and playing it safe. So you have to embrace it, take it on, recognize that if success is guaranteed, it by nature is not a risk. And, even though we feel like, okay, I've done this before, this has worked before, I'm going to do this the same way. Sometimes the situation around you changes and your success is less guaranteed than you might think. So staying in the same place may actually be risky. So there's a lot of elements of this that you have to embrace in order to move forward. But fear of failure is definitely one of the things to be aware of because it can get in your way. Another aspect that could get in the way of an executive mindset is resistance to change. Very, very related to fear of failure, but it may almost get you going on sort of rote memory. I'm just going to keep doing things the way they've done. I'm going to move forward before I stop and think strategically about whether that's the best path forward. Just in general, holding on to some maybe overly comfortable methods, maybe even outdated methods, or being resistant to new ideas because they don't feel comfortable. All of those things can hinder your ability to adapt and really embrace that executive mindset that sort of leans into the openness for change. And then one more that I want to mention, because it comes up definitely as a theme, is a short-term focus. I didn't think about this one initially, but it is an interesting thing that can keep you keep you from really embracing that executive mindset. Because what you do then is you really prioritize the immediate needs over the long-term goals. And it can cause you to miss out on some strategic opportunities, which can limit the growth of your organization. Now, the reality is, if you are with a big public company, short-term focus is almost forced on you because every quarter you have to report results to the street. So it's a real risk if if you're focused on quarterly results, that your focus stays short-term. But it is critical that executives have that mindset to think longer term, to make sure that what you're doing is successful, not just in the short term, but also in a big sustainable way. It can be tough, but it's really important to keep in mind. And by recognizing some of these barriers, you can really more effectively adapt that executive mindset that will foster long-term thinking, long-term planning, willingness to take risks, all the things that have led you to this executive position.